So then we're going to get into search and destroy, and this will I'll try to go through this as quickly as possible. Again, for time's sake, I'm sorry that I talk so much in these, but I hope you guys find it interesting. So I made the comparison to the Viet Cong and like a modern terrorist in the Middle East, right? They're not wearing a uniform. There could be a U.S. soldier in a city in Afghanistan right now, and before you know it, they're walking down the street, and then they get blown up by someone they would never be expected to be blown up by. It could be a woman, could be a child, could be a young man, could be an old man, could be anyone. You don't really know the face of your enemy, and that's what we're going to find in Vietnam, which was another kind of very detrimental thing to the mindset of a U.S. troop. So a lot of southern Vietnamese villagers were supporting the Viet Cong, not militarily, but socially, right? They're letting them stay in their village. And then when U.S. troops get there and they, set up camp or whatever near that village, the Viet Cong kind of come out and kill U.S. troops or torture U.S. troops, whatever. So we have search and destroy. And this is going to be to go in and minimize U.S. casualties and maximize Viet Cong casualties. All right, we're going to go into all these villages and we are going to try to hunt down the Viet Cong, all right, or people that support the Viet Cong. And we're going to take them out so that the Viet Cong does not have a home base. They are not going to be supported socially. They're not going to be supported economically by these little villages in South Vietnam. All right, and we're just going to go village to village to village to village to village. There are going to be hundreds of search and destroy missions all across South Vietnam, where, again, they're trying to find the VCs, right? The VC units, Viet Cong units in these kind of what we thought were peaceful South Vietnamese villages. This is where the atrocities come in, right? This is where the ugly side of war comes in, because they're going to burn down these villages, right? They are going to contaminate water supplies of these villages. They're going to kill livestock. They are going to kill innocent people when they go into these villages. Again, I'm not trying to support it, but the mentality of a U.S. soldier in Vietnam is not one of a stable, mentally healthy person because of what they went through on a kind of day in and day out basis. So it was very hard on them to do this and to trust. When we get into the media, I'll explain a little bit more, but it's very hard if you walk in with your platoon and a woman comes up to you asking for like a hug, and when you go to hug, when your fellow soldier goes to hug her, she drops a grenade and kills both of them. It's very hard to then trust anyone when you're coming up to a stranger, because the troops just didn't know. So I'm not trying to make excuses for what happened in Search and Destroy. I'm just trying to give the justification from their perspectives. It was very hard for them to trust because, again, in a guerrilla style war, you don't know who your enemy is. All right. So the kind of the last thing that I want to talk about in this kind of Search and Destroy phase is the My Lai massacre. All right. We go into a village, and we're going to massacre 300 unarmed civilians, and kind of their bodies are going to be spread all across this village on the roads leading in and out of it. And it's going to be very heavily reported what we did. All right. And this is in 1968. And this is really where the public sentiment back home for the Vietnam War starts to tank. All right. We see what American troops are doing. We didn't see the other side of it at the time. All right. American people did not see a woman or a child dropping a grenade and suicide bombing themselves and taking out two troops. We didn't see that side of it. We just saw the U.S. troops killing unarmed, what we thought were friendly civilians. All right. And when we see the result, when we see 300 bodies dead outside of a village, support for the war goes way, way, way down. And it's going to make us kind of change the way that we perceive the conflict in Vietnam. I'm going to end this one here. I hope I didn't go too fast, and I hope you found that interesting. I'm going to have a couple videos to kind of support what I'm saying and bring some sort of visual aid to it. Let me know if you have any questions. And as always, be good.